What's so funny?
Oh, no. You're a smart guy. You clearly picked up some flashy tricks, but you made one crucial mistake. You forgot about the essence of the game. It's about the cones.
Hey, fun fans. It's another episode of We Enjoy. Thanks for joining us this week, where our main event is Event Horizon. It's a main event Horizon, Eric, is what I'm trying to say.
Amazing.
Pretty good, huh? We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, man. What a superhero world we live in. We've got a new Falcon and Winter Soldier episode on the horizon for us here, recording on Thursday night.
On the Event Horizon.
And we also have the trailer for The Suicide Squad dropping tomorrow as well, or today for people who are listening to it when the episode mostly goes up. How many people you think are going to pretend not to like it? That it won't be just fucking awesome top to bottom. Like, people, how many, I'm just wondering, like, out there, it's Snyder Bros who are going to pretend.
Who only want one filmmaker making their DC movies, that might be a group, but otherwise.
Well, I don't even know necessarily that Snyder Bros want Zack Snyder making every DC movie, unless you've heard this differently. They just want
what they do. It is like a weird allegiance thing, because I see what they do on like James Gunn's tweets and other people's tweets, which is like James Gunn tweets out like the poster and stuff, and yeah, there's like the super crazy people, but what a lot of it is like, James, do you support restoring the Snyderverse? Like, it's like this weird, like, or do you restoring the Ayer cut? Like, it's like they want to make sure, it's like, are you with us? Like,
are you with us, or are you someone we have to put on a list?
Right.
What that list means, we're not going to say here on Twitter, but I think you know what that list means.
We have a specific agenda, and we need to make sure all filmmakers are with that agenda before we possibly will act excited about their films. So that's what
look, here's the thing. We all know that Ayer's version of Suicide Squad, it was sort of like a half-measure version of what they did to Justice League. It got hacked up and chopped to bits and lightened up to be made less dark and glum and with less glowering.
Nowhere near as much of the reshoots and stuff, but yeah.
Not at all. They changed the ending, they made it more jokey, and so on and so forth. But and so I'm sure there are people out there who want the Ayer cut because they don't want any jokes. Very few jokes. Right. But what we're going to see tomorrow, or whenever you guys watch it, is going to be fucking awesome, and we all know it, okay? So let's not pretend otherwise.
Very likely.
It's the high chances are, percentage is high.
Yes.
That everyone, if you're not psyched for James Gunn's Suicide Squad, then I don't know. Go back.
You got 2 words for you.
We got 2 words for you. Suicide Squad. Original Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the one without the.
Yeah, just Suicide Squad. That's for you. So you could find both of us on Twitter at the Matt Fowler and the Eric Goldman. The podcast is at We Enjoy Podcast on Twitter, and the Patreon is patreon.com We Enjoy Podcast, and you can write us at all these different places. You can write us at weenjoypodcast@gmail.com. You can write us on Twitter or on Patreon if you're a Patreon subscriber, where for $2 a month you can enjoy a completely, ultimately, definitively, in 4:3, 4 hours long, now in black and white, ad-free version of this podcast.
Sweater sniffing ad-free version.
So they're going to release a black and white version, and we knew this.
It's out today.
Oh, it's out today. Okay, so we knew this was coming. Justice is Gray, I think it's called, right? And a way to get more people to watch again. Obviously, huge fans don't need that big an excuse to watch it again. I'm sure they've already watched it multiple times in full color.
I don't really think this, but there's a part of me that is like, if Zack Snyder was trolling his super fans, this would be the funny way to do it. To be like, it's 4 hours, it's 4:3. It's black
This
and white.
all feels like the movie Kevin Bacon wanted to make in The Big Picture.
Right.
You know, when he's trying to pitch his movie and it all goes awry because it's satire of Hollywood, but he just wants to make a black and white movie about a couple in a cabin.
Yes.
And it's like, nobody wants to see that. And they keep introducing things. What if it's a love triangle? What if it's this, you know? And then all of a sudden, like, he's accepting all the changes. But then in the end, he gets to make his movie with Michael McKean as his cameraman. I think the character's name is Nick, right? That was a good movie. I like that movie.
It is a good movie, but I could not tell you a character name from that
His
movie.
name was Nick, Eric.
Sure. I'll
Nick the
accept it,
filmmaker.
but
Yeah, no, you're right. And I also think they should, from now on, every couple weeks, release a new version of Justice League with, like this week is black and white. Next week,
well, that's what I said. Like the next version, I think I put on Twitter is French. Like it's like
or 1 week the Flash is replaced with Snagglepuss. It's the Snaggle cut, or like 1 week, like
Justice is Snaggle edition.
I might watch that. I'm not gonna lie. I might watch if somehow. Wonder Woman is now Huckleberry Hound.
Sure. It's really just Laugh Olympics is basically what we're getting at.
Okay, so we've got news. We've got things you wrote us in a very friendly manner coming up after the news. Then we've got good things to enjoy. Then we've got your assignment for next week. And then Main Event Horizon on the horizon.
But also, if you haven't subscribed, we'd love you to subscribe. And if you could rate us on iTunes, we'd very much appreciate that.
But not a bad rating, just a good one.
Well, hopefully not a bad rating.
No, we don't want them to rate us if it's bad. If they do,
we don't really want them to rate us if it's bad.
I'm just saying if you think we're bad, I don't know why you're listening to us.
If you enjoy what you're hearing.
But I'm saying, like, if you think we're bad, just keep it to yourself.
Sure.
Like, don't click anything. Don't click anything extra.
Yeah.
Okay. So some sad news this week in the accomplished actors that we kind of enjoy and adore passing in their old age. Both George Segal and Jessica Walter. Jessica Walter just today. And both of them passed away. Both of them known very well for TV shows. Hit TV shows within our pop culture lexicon, but also for just decades and decades of movies and so forth. Jessica Walter, Lucille Bluth on Arrested Development. Mallory Archer did the voice of Mallory Archer on FX's Archer. And just learned today, I think a lot of us did, including you too, Eric, that she was the voice of Fran Sinclair, the mom on Dinosaurs.
That really threw me. I was shocked. But I think I was going to mention the one difference between both of them, both extremely talented people, is George Segal was a star as a younger man more than she was. She was a working actress, and she had a long career, but it was kind of Arrested Development that made her a star in her later years, in a way she never had been before, but certainly deserved. So I think that's why it wasn't on our radar that she was the voice of Dinosaurs, because when she was doing that, it was just like an actress. Like it wasn't people weren't clocking who was doing that voice. So.
No, well that was way before famous folks and celebrities were doing stunt casting for voices. There was actual voice actors. So
right.
She also won an Emmy for something I never heard of, which was an Ironside spinoff called Amy Prentice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just a great and talented, very, very funny woman. Lucille Bluth is forever quotable. Gave us some of the best moments from that show.
Yeah.
And then George Segal, who, again, accomplished musician and actor on stage and TV and movies for decades. And if we're talking TV, he really was right now a cast member for the Goldbergs.
9 seasons he had been doing. It was just about to film a season finale.
And look, it's one of those roles where you knew. It's kind of like James Gardner on 10 Things I Hate About You. What was the name of that show? 10 Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter.
Yeah.
Where literally on kind of his way out, he was on a TV show, but he could only sit. And so all of his scenes were filmed where he was just sitting, and he was the grandfather on that show. And George Segal is very much in the same way, where he most of the time Pops, his character on the show, was sitting. But Goldbergs is very funny. If people don't watch Goldbergs, they should. It's a hoot and a holler. But also was on.
I realized it hasn't been renewed. I mean, again, 9 seasons. is incredibly impressive. It hasn't been renewed for season 10. They're about to film the season finale, so it's a little tricky because it's not clear if they can pivot in really right away to make it a tribute episode, or do they wait till next season, but there might not be a next season. So I think it's kind of a little tricky, because otherwise, of course, you'd expect there to be an episode where his character passes away and it's all about that. But I think the timing's a little tricky for them to sort of figure that out.
Yeah, he was also forever on Just Shoot Me, which was one of those weird under-the-radar shows back when sitcoms got huge numbers that people would absolutely kill someone for today.
Yes.
Where these shows like News Radio and Just Shoot Me and Wings and things that weren't Cheers, Seinfeld, and Friends, but existed for a very, very long time because NBC just ruled the comedy landscape for a long time. But he was on Just Shoot Me forever as sort of the boss of that. It was like a fashion magazine, so...
Yeah, and then I always loved him in Cable Guy. He plays Broderick's dad, and he's really funny in that movie. I didn't realize they had worked together, Jessica Walter and George Segal, multiple times. They did a 1968 movie together called Bye Bye Braverman. She played his ex-wife on an episode of Just Shoot Me, and then they had a short-lived TV Land sitcom. What was it called, like Retired at 35 or something?
Oh, yeah. Were they the parents?
Yep, they were the parents. So It was funny because I saw someone tweet, I hope they work together. And I was like, I just found out they worked together a ton, actually, through the years.
Is that the smoking gun? Is that what did them in? Are you uncovering something here? George Segal also Oscar nominated for a very, an amazing film, obviously, with, what's her name? Elizabeth Taylor. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's...
I have seen it. But what I have not seen is Play Misty for Me, which is Jessica Walter's kind of big cinematic, dramatic claim to fame.
Did I tell you that I was taught screenwriting at UCLA by her brother, Richard Walter?
No,
who,
I did not.
I believe, wrote that movie, I think. Oh. Anyway, the Walter connection.
But yeah, two great actors, super funny. Certainly a testament to working. I mean, they worked, they basically worked till the day they died. She was still doing Archer. I think physically she was not, maybe couldn't do as much on camera, but she was still doing Archer. I think they said that basically she has a full season of Archer she's already recorded. He was a regular on the Goldbergs. Both great. And by the way, I feel like it's a weird insult to him or something, because it's not at all. He's amazing. But when the news of her dying today came out, I was like, man, I felt really sad, and I kind of knew everyone would. And I think it's just because Arrested Development had such an impact, and she was so great on it. And it's funny because she played the opposite of a lovable character on that show, but so damn funny, nailed every line. And I just kind of knew there'd be a collective we all really feel this together, which there was, which again is just a testament to her talent.
I think for a lot of people, including myself, this is somebody who worked forever and ever, but for people our age and younger who discovered Arrested Development, that was really my first introduction to her.
Yeah.
On a large scale, and I was like, oh, to me, she was it was newcomer standout, Jessica Walter.
Right.
The ingenue.
She was the person, except for the kids, for Michael Cera and Alia Shawkat, am I saying her name right? But it's basically it was her and the kids were the ones I didn't know. Tony Hale too, I should say. I feel like I've seen Will Arnett a little bit, and then of course the others I knew from various things. But yeah, she just kind of stole every scene she was in. And by the way, I tweeted this earlier, but I believe she is the first live action Marvel supervillain ever. Because she was in the 1970s Doctor Strange TV movie. In the 70s, Universal had a big deal with Marvel. They were trying all these different TV projects, and there was Doctor Strange, Captain America, Incredible Hulk, and Spider-Man. Only Hulk was a hit. Spider-Man got a few episodes. But Doctor Strange, she played Morgan Le Fay.
I was going to ask. I was like, she's not Dormammu, so was she Morgan Le Fay? Recently played by Elizabeth Hurley on Runaways.
None of those other things I mentioned use comic book villains. They all were just gangsters, and they all just did Thug of the Week. And so I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she was the first live action Marvel supervillain.
Remember when John Rhys Davies played Kingpin on the Hulk TV movie with Daredevil, and he sucked on the antenna? From his the remote control thing he was using to blast Daredevil with sonic waves.
I believe, he would be the second on-screen Marvel supervillain.
Exactly, and I think that was totally we do one for the camera and we do one for John, and he's sure. Let me run with this. What would Wilson Fisk do? And he just puts the antenna in his mouth, and they're like, use it. It's not my good thing to enjoy this week, but yeah, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Always amazing. Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, George Segal, and who was George Segal's wife? Sandy Dennis. Okay. So let's get into a little Marvel news since we're on the event horizon of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2 this week. Disney Plus, or Disney, I mean, the Walt Disney Company released the information. No hard facts, no hard data here to sift through, but they just said, and we take it at their word, that Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the most watched Disney premiere they've ever had, and that beats WandaVision and Mandalorian Season 2. WandaVision, I believe, more because people were kind of like, WandaVision didn't start to really take off until episode 4. As far as the large discourse about that show, because
I believe.
Go for it. No, you go for it.
Okay, I will say, I believe, like, it's funny when I tweeted out, kind of a snarky thing about the fact that, of course, there were no hard numbers. Like, when they say it's their biggest premiere, it's not like we know, like, this many people watched it, breaking the old record of this many people. So it's like, is it 10 people watched it, breaking the record of 8, or is it, 1 million people breaking the, we don't know.
And then it's always the weird thing of what streaming counts as a view. Like,
yes.
And this comes from the Netflix of it all, where they count like, oh, well, they watched like 30 seconds past the opening credits, so we count that as a win for us. Yeah, like,
yeah.
Or did they finish the episode? Exactly.
Yeah, that we don't know, and that's the thing about all the mysteriousness of the streaming services. But I did say, because some people were like, were asking me, did I think like that meant that it wasn't their biggest premiere? I said, no, I don't think that's a lie. I don't think they would lie like that. It's not. I think it's their biggest premiere because I do think, first of all, they just keep adding, members. Like there's like at least 15 million more people with Disney Plus now than when Mandalorian season 2 premiered. So there's just more people. We're coming off WandaVision, which, yes, like built as it went along. But also I think it's like, when you think about it, it's like, yes, Falcon and Winter Soldier are supporting characters in the movies, but they're actually, I think, bigger than Vision and Scarlet Witch were going into their show. It's like Winter Soldier was already a title character.
Oh yeah, Winter Soldier was also like
oh, yeah.
Bucky's plight was the plot of the second and third Captain America movie.
Yeah, so I felt like they have more of like a fan base for those characters than Wanda and Vision had, and then Mandalorian season 1, even Mandalorian would have, because it's a brand new character, and even season 2, it's just like I felt like, oh, yeah, I could see that. So I'm sure it's true that it's their biggest premiere. It's just funny that it's in this strange vacuum of not knowing exactly how impressive it is, because we don't know how many viewers they have. That's just how it goes.
Speaking of Disney Plus, it was announced this week as well that Black Widow, it is still releasing in theaters, but it has been bumped to July. Mm-hmm. And it will also premiere at the same time on Disney Plus Premier Access. So that means you got to pay what, $30 or so?
Yeah, $30. Yep.
Yeah, but Future's so bright. Eric and I got to wear shades at this point because you and I are primed. We're gonna see that in the theater. We're gonna be in the front row, laughing it up like Max Cady. Just with a cigar, like all the things you're not supposed to do in a theater. I'm pretty sure you weren't supposed to do them back then, even when that movie came out. Laughing. I'm trying to remember that scene we're talking about Scorsese's Cape Fear remake. Was that actually a comedy he was laughing at, like over laughing at, or was it like a drama?
I think it was a comedy.
Was it like a cartoon?
I don't remember that. I don't remember what they were watching.
What were they watching? It was so goddamn funny.
Maybe it was legitimately just really funny. So this was interesting because Black Widow was this, there's been this question mark for a long time, but also because I think May 7th was the date it was on, and we were getting to a point where it's almost the end of March. It's like, okay, well, if it's May 7th, where are the advertisements? But also, is it realistic to keep it on May 7th? Yes, things are looking better and better. More theaters are reopening. Here in Los Angeles, theaters are reopening for the first time in a year, and people are getting vaccinated. But everything isn't hunky-dory. It's still not going to be like everyone's, the theaters are back at full capacity and people are safe to go. There's a lot of factors going on here. And so, yes, they ended up moving it, but they also made this Disney Plus Premier Access thing, which by all accounts, Feige really didn't want to do. Like, he really wanted it to just be theaters. But I think that they were in just such a huge bind with the fact that they have so many Marvel movies and Marvel TV shows now. And because I kind of pat myself a little bit on the back because I kind of called what they were going to do the last weekend, that I thought they might push Black Widow and push Shang-Chi, which are the two they push, but nothing else. Because again, it's the domino effect. Like if they pushed them both dramatically, and Shang-Chi went to November where Eternals is, and Eternals gets bumped into next year, and then Doctor Strange gets bumped and Thor gets bumped, that's a real problem, especially with the TV shows and the fact that we're supposed to meet Yelena, Florence Pugh in Black Widow, and then she's in Hawkeye. Well, Hawkeye's airing this year. Like it's like there's just too many issues. Would Sony delay Spider-Man again in December? They might not. So I think they were kind of in a bind where they're like, okay, we have to put it out. And also they're making this kind of gamble because if you look at what they did, they have not said any of the stuff coming out after July is Disney Plus. That doesn't mean they can't change it to it. But right now I think they're hoping that August on is like we can be back in theaters only.
Right.
And so that seems to be what they're heading, because they also made Cruella Disney Plus Premiere Access in May. And they made the new Pixar movie Luca Disney Plus without Premiere Access.
Yeah, it's just exclusive to Disney Plus. Few very, very important things. First, is that how you say her name, Florence Pugh, or is it Pugh?
I thought it was Pugh because I thought I was saying Pugh, and then I heard other people say that. But I could be wrong, and I could have reversed that in my mind.
Okay, second very, very important thing. Is it Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi?
Okay, this one I know because I always said Shang-Chi, and then Kevin Feige, I believe at that Disney Investor Day, it was like Shang-Chi. Okay. And I was like, oh, I guess I've been wrong my whole life.
So one's cleared up, the other one's still up in the air. Third very, very important thing. Do you know that we've all been saying Chrissy Teigen's name wrong?
No.
It's Teigen.
What the hell?
But she says Teigen because she says it wrong. She's admitted as such.
Huh.
Basically, somebody long ago said Teigen. She never corrected them, and she never corrects anyone when they say Teigen. But it's Teigen. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Now I need Florence Pugh to come out and tell me how to say her name.
The one little like non-Marvel specific tangent I'll just say here with the Disney stuff is I noticed that when they made all these decisions, and here we're delaying these other movies, they delayed other stuff too, is that they didn't move, nor did they say anything about Disney Plus for Jungle Cruise, which is July 30th. So it seems like that is their hope for the first like fully back in theaters movie, is like they think maybe July 30th Jungle Cruise can go kind of, out wide as a theatrical only movie.
Now in the non-Disney realm of things, this officially also made Spiral from the Book of Saw, the unofficial movie to open the summer. Yeah, the start of summer movie is Spiral.
Which is amazing. Followed by A Quiet Place 2, so it's like a horror is dominating early summer movie schedule.
Oh, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, the very sparse early summer movie schedule. And then we'll see Fast Nine still end of June. So
I'm going to see both of those movies 9 times.
Even if
I don't care if I'm all in on Saw movies.
Sure.
But
yeah.
I'm going to see it 9 times in over the course of one weekend, and then the same for A Quiet Place 2. Mm-hmm. One will be very loud. One will be very quiet.
Hey, there you go.
All right. I heard some very disturbing things about a character named Echo.
Disturbing.
Eric. Yeah, I heard that she basically has the same power as Taskmaster, and that will not stand, Eric.
Do you not know Echo? Were you not reading?
No,
Daredevil?
I wasn't reading Echo. But she can copy people's fighting techniques.
She can, which is interesting that they're introducing 2 characters with the same ability and the same.
Technically, like Black Widow should have opened last year, but yeah,
right. But still, yeah, they were always going to be fairly close. Now they're going to be in the same year. Yes, she does have the same skill set. Very different in other elements because she is in the comics. Actually, I think they made her younger, the age thing in the show, because I think she's like a teenager. But yeah, Native American. And is deaf, which is, I know, is in the TV show as well, this character, and a hero. And for a while, and this will be interesting, the fact that they're introducing her in the Hawkeye show raises some interesting questions, because in the comics, she was the other Ronin, the other person who took on the identity Hawkeye took on. If you only know the movies, that was his guise when he was a vigilante killing bad guys.
Did they call him that, or was there anything written that his name was Ronin?
The merch used that.
No, I mean in the movie.
In the movie, they didn't use that name, although the costume was the Ronin costume that he was wearing. Yeah.
I just don't like. I love Taskmaster so much that I don't like people copying the copier. You know what I'm saying?
Matt, by the way, I meant to tweet about this, and I still will, but I just read yesterday the first 4 issues of the current 5-issue Power Pack miniseries. Fifth one hasn't come out yet.
Oh, I thought you were about to talk about the aliens. Okay.
No, Power Pack, which is, well, Alien's great too, but Power Pack, a current Marvel miniseries that kind of reunites the 4 of them for the first time in a long time. And there is an issue with Taskmaster. They fight.
Oh, 2 of my favorite elements of the Marvel Universe combined.
I know, there you go.
You know, I told you the Power Pack went to my school.
I know this.
Well, you know this, but do the Wii enjoyers know it? I don't know.
I don't
Power
know.
Pack went to PS 87 in New York, and also
Marvel's,
IS 44 across the street for the middle school.
Team of 4 siblings who are superheroes who one day maybe we'll see in live action.
They lived off of 72nd and Broadway. I don't know exactly where they lived, but when they would walk home, they would go past the Grace Papaya on 72nd and Broadway. Which is why I loved them a lot in elementary school, because they literally went to my elementary school. And they were in my class. They were dicks, but, you know, I liked them.
Well, they had powers. Echo though.
So the news about Echo is not that this character is being introduced in the Hawkeye show, but is that Disney is right now developing an early development on a spin-off series from the Hawkeye series that centers on Echo.
Yep. Which again, and this is one of the ones the trades are broken, has not been announced yet officially by Marvel. And I think even the way they phrased it, it's not like officially greenlit. It's like, but it is something they've developed. They have writers on it. And look, I mean, they are clearly going so big on the Disney Plus Marvel stuff. And it does seem like the plan is basically that there will never be a week without a Marvel show eventually. We know there's this break in between Falcon Winter Soldier and Loki by a few weeks. And, you know, again, there was a lot of schedules that slowed down because of COVID. But I think the plan is eventually that maybe you have a 1 week off in between. But otherwise, it's just like all Marvel all the time. And so they can't all star huge celebrity stars from the movies, and so there'll be spin-offs of the spin-offs. You know, Hawkeye's getting his first like a solo story that's going to spotlight him, plus introduce Kate Bishop, and we'll introduce Echo, and then she might get her own show, and then who knows where Kate and Clint go from there. They have so many options, Matt, so many.
Euro trip.
The Euro trip.
That's where they go from there. It is a Marvel year. It's a super duper Marvel year, packed Marvel year.
I mean, but with Black Widow moving to July, there are 4 MCU movies in the second half of this year. You know, we haven't had any in 2 years, but then it's going to be July, September. Shang-Chi moved to September. Eternals is still in November, and Spider-Man is still December. So 4 MCU movies plus all the TV shows, Hawkeye, and
I'm going to see those movies 9 times each.
You'll see them 9 times, yes.
All right, from Marvel to DC, because what other universes goddamn exist? None of them. It's just Marvel and DC, and that's it.
Occasionally the Star Wars universe exists.
Well, and that's part of Jessica Walter's universe, because go see a Star Wars.
That's right.
All right, DC. So it was announced that another cast member was added to Black Adam, which is the movie starring The Rock as the titular Black Adam, and Dr. Fate has been cast, and it is none other than Pierce Brosnan. You know, I love Dr. Fate because Dr. Fate went to my elementary school, Eric. Did I ever tell you that?
You didn't, and he'd eat at Grace Papaya.
He did. He went to eat. He ate like.
He'd have to take off the helmet, but he'd go to Grace Papaya.
Yeah, you can eat those hot dogs pretty quickly. They're kind of small, but yeah, they're good. I don't really know a lot about Dr. Fate, so tell me about Dr. Fate. I know a lot about Pierce Brosnan, but not Dr. Fate.
So the 2 things that I mostly know about Dr. Fate were when they did the Marvel amalgam, Marvel DC versus DC in the 90s, and they did the amalgam comics, and they had them all mashed together, and there was Doctor Strange Fate. He is their big sorcerer. You know, it's easy to say like, oh, he's like their Doctor Strange, to the point that they even mashed them together because he's a sorcerer with a cape. But I mostly know him now because I just watched all of Young Justice. And he is involved in Young Justice. So he is it's like he's a guy who's – it's kind of like he's under a curse. Again, I'm going by the Young Justice version. I don't know how much they changed in the comics. But it's like it's almost like he's under a curse. Like he's like kind of trapped inside the helmet. And there's like almost another personality that the helmet itself is embodying. But he is like the avatar for Dr. Fate, which can be passed on to other people.
Well, why is he dressed like he's at medieval times? Since we were talking about Cable Guy earlier,
I think it's connected to like ancient Egypt because there's like you pronounce it like the Ankh, that symbol. So he's that. It's like the idea is like the helmet is an ancient thing, and if you put it on, it's like yes, you'll become like the new Doctor Fate, but it's a bit of a curse situation because again, there's this entity that's kind of the helmet itself, and it needs. It's almost like the Venom symbiote, with better intentions maybe, but it's still kind of using you in a way. Again, this is the Young Justice version that I know.
All right, well maybe someone will write in and fate-splain all of this to us and tell us, because I'm assuming Dr. Fate is somebody who's had multiple identities, like Green Lanterns and so on. Like many people have been Dr. Fate, sort of, including James Bond now. Pierce Brosnan has joined the cast of Black Adam, which I don't know. I can't remember the full cast. I know Aldous Hodge is Hawkman, and what's his name? Noah Centineo. Is that the kid's name? His name Adam Smasher. Yeah,
he's taking over Edge's role as Adam Smasher.
Yeah, Edge's role from a Flash episode, one of the early Flash episodes, a one-off Adam Smasher for Adam Copeland. And and then over to Shazam 2. What is the Shazam 2 subtitle? Fate of the Gods?
It's not. Is it Fate of the Gods? It's something of the Gods. Fury of the Gods.
Fury of the Gods. Fate and Furious of the Gods.
It's Fury of the Gods.
Okay, and Helen Mirren has joined as Hespera, and is a villainous character. Don't know a lot about Hespera except that she went to my elementary school.
And love Grace of Fire.
So
I know less about Hespera than I do about Dr. Fate.
Wow, and that wasn't much at all. Okay, so but anyway, she's joined, and I think I put up on Twitter that she's joined. She's in 2 different Rock projects, if we're counting the
universes.
Yeah, the Fast and the Furious universe, and now the DCEU, which Rock is joining as Black Adam, and either they need to fight or be lovers or both. Either one.
It's like the Batman Catwoman.
I mean, isn't it a natural thing for the next Hobbs and Shaw to be like?
Well, someone tweeted to me when I said the hookup thing. Someone's like, "Oh my God, he marries her, and now it's like
he's Shaw's dad." Yeah, he's like, "Look, your mother and I have been seeing each other," and like Statham's like, "No fucking way."
Like, no.
Yeah, he's like literally, but like, is he really in love with Shaw's mom, or is
and he's like, "I want you to be my best man," and it's just.
Will they ever get along, Eric? Not if he marries Shaw's mom. Okay.
And call me dad. And then he's like, "Argh!" and steam comes out of his ears. And he's like, "Hobbs!" And then it goes to
and Hobbs is like, anyone can be a dad, but I want to be your father.
Why are we not writing these movies?
I am right now I'm simultaneously tweeting it out.
Yes, 2 great actors. And I will say, like, myself, knowing a little bit more about Dr. Fate, it's like people were psyched by Brosnan. Like it was definitely one of those very well received. Helen Mirren, people were psyched because it's Helen Mirren, but I think no, it's not a character that is like a lot of people know. But like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate went over very well with the Grumpies. Like it was well received by people who try to hate every decision. So.
Who just prejudge everything based on casting and or anything that just bugs them. Now over to the Flash movie, which is still adding characters, but also a few things are still in flux. Now, Ron Livingston has joined to take over the role of Henry Allen because Billy Crudup, I think it was a scheduling thing.
Yeah, it was with the morning show, his Apple Plus.
So he's going to be filming the morning show. And if you get a free trial for Apple Plus to watch Central Park because Eric recommended it, you can also watch him in the Apple show, the morning show on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
So Ron Livingston, talented guy, you know him from a lot of things. Right now he's been on, if the show is still on, it's a mom show because my mom watches it, A Million Little Things on NBC ? He's on that show. He was on Boardwalk Empire. He may be most famous from Office Space and Swingers.
Yeah.
And but he's been in a bunch of stuff. So he's going to be Henry Allen. They added, I don't know her name right now. She was in Pan's Labyrinth. I don't have her name on the tip of my tongue, but she, the Flash's mom has been cast. What's her name? Martha Allen.
Yes. Is it Martha?
No, it's not
that.
Martha.
Wait, damn it! You got me. You got me. I definitely wasn't thinking when I said that. Is it Martha? All DC. That'd be the best thing.
You're an idiot.
If every DC hero whose name was. This is Martha. This is another Martha.
Okay, so
Council of Marthas.
She's Flash's mom, and we already know about Ben Affleck and man, I don't know anyone's name, but the actress who was Iris West in Justice League is back as Iris West. But the big news when all this Batman stuff broke was that because it's going to be borrowing from the Flashpoint comic book arc and dealing with changing time and changing the past and also the multiverse, that Michael Keaton's Batman, or not necessarily the Batman from the Tim Burton's movies, but Michael Keaton would be playing. We don't know. We don't know the connectivity or what the tissue is here, but we know that Michael Keaton was supposed to come on board and play Batman, whatever this universe's version of Batman is, whether or not it connects to the movies from decades ago. But either way, it's a cool casting thing. But now he's talking a little bit, Michael Keaton was speaking about how he has a little bit of concerns going over to England to film this because of COVID. So he was speaking to Deadline, and he said, I'm going to need a minute to think about it because I'm so fortunate and blessed. I got so much going on now. I'm really into work now. I don't know why, but I am. So, yeah, he's just... That wasn't the quote I wanted.
Well, there was the one how he said he had concerns about COVID. He had they'd sent him the script, but he hadn't read it. And then he was like, I'm not sure if I'm doing it. And he was like, I'm not being cute or coy. I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Have they trained the actors over in the DCEU to be lying liars who lie like they are over in the MCU?
Well, we know that they have, because Momoa lied for a long time about being Aquaman.
That's true. Yeah.
So I still say he's probably just a lying liar who lies. Again, never officially announced, but the thing that was pretty much solidifying it was when they did DC Fandom last summer, and they showed production art that had the Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash, with a Batman behind him that was Batman 89. Like the costume, it was clearly like Keaton's Batman, his costume. So they never announced it officially, but that was pretty much them saying, I think he's doing it. It's just like they're so close to filming now, and he's like, I have the script, so it just feels like a strange thing if he's like, because they'd have to know, Matt. That's what I feel like.
I would think they would have to know at a certain point. You know who was a really cool 90s couple? Michael Keaton and Courtney Cox. I wish those kids had worked things out, but...
Nora Allen. I looked it up because it was bugging me, which is funny because that's a DC name. I think of Nora Freeze.
Yeah.
So they do like to repeat names.
So if...
Martha,
oh,
Nora.
Man. So if, like, Flash fought Mr. Freeze and they said the name Nora and he's like, my mom, and he's like, my wife. My wife. That's how Dr.
Yeah, it'd be like my dead mom, my dead wife, or my frozen wife, my dying wife.
My ice wife.
My ice wife. Oh, ice wife.
I love you, my ice wife. Okay, yeah, I'm done with news. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that Keaton will be doing it. It would be a bummer if he's not at this point, but I feel
that's kind of all the Flash movies got going for it at this point, multiverse-wise, like unless they have some other aces up their sleeve.
I mean, Affleck's in it too, which is obviously interesting amongst the Restore the Snyderverse thing, and we thought there was no way he was going to do anything else.
No, he's supposed to have a huge part in this movie, like almost maybe the second, character in the movie.
I hadn't heard that, and I didn't expect that. But
that's what the director said, or something along those lines. He's like part of the emotional core of the movie because both of them lost their parents to murder and all this stuff. Like, I
still felt like the way he said it might still be like the first act. But either way, Affleck coming back at all is certainly notable, especially because it just seemed like when he walked away from doing his own solo movie that he was done. And he had like public battles with alcoholism and stuff that he talked about needing to kind of step away. So it's cool that he's coming back and doing this, and obviously it's like, oh wow, they're gonna have two like very iconic Batmen in this movie, but we don't know what else they might be doing.
Are we ready to call Ben Affleck iconic as Batman?
I think no matter what I would call him iconic, even though I don't think any of the movies he was in.
I just mean like maybe if we stepped away for a few years from this, but like we're still in it right now. Okay, I guess he's been at multiple movies and in cameos and stuff.
couldn't you even argue George Clooney is an iconic Batman? I'm not saying,
I will argue
you know,
that.
it's like it's hard not to be when you're Batman because it's Batman, right?
I don't think there's any copy out there that writes iconic Batman George Clooney. I don't think anyone has ever written that in an article or a review or anything like that.
My definitive Batman.
Definitive icon.
Nora Freeze.
Nora Freeze. Oh, okay. Let's got a lot of write-ins this week, so let me try to get through them super quick so that we can get to our good things to enjoy, and then we can get into main event horizon. Lauren on Twitter suggested that we should do a reaction to Leslie Jones's live tweet of the Snyder Cut, which would be us reacting to her reaction to a movie, which I don't think we're in the business of doing, but I don't know. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them when they would pop up in retweets on my timeline.
Right. I don't think we can promise that. But.
So, a couple people actually, because I was talking about last week, if you have actually watched something that one of the good things to enjoy that we recommended, to let us know. And I know I couldn't find it. I don't know if they tweeted to you directly or if it was on the Patreon. Anyway, regardless, I couldn't find it. Somebody I know saw Silent Partner and told you they liked it.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know you knew them, but I did know they tweeted me because I saw it.
Okay, someone tweeted you, and I saw it, and but I couldn't find it for this. So whoever you were, thank you for watching Silent Partner, yeah. And Eric, thanks you for. Eric is happy you enjoyed it. I am too, but I have yet to see that movie. I might think it stinks. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you might think it's iconic.
Yeah, as much as Nora Freeze.
Yes.
I've told you why the
model who played Nora Freeze in that movie. Vendela, was that her name?
Oh, was she Schwarzenegger's Nora Freeze?
Yes, she was.
I told you the line, the pun they left on the table at the end of that movie that drives me crazy, right?
Oh yeah.
Where he says, for those listening, ice pun, ice pun, ice pun the whole movie, and then at the end of the movie, Mr. Freeze says, "Take 2 of these and call me in the morning." Mm-hmm. When he's giving iconic Batman George Clooney the cure to McGregor syndrome.
Sure.
He does not, however, say, "Take 2 of Freeze and call me in the morning." Right. And because of that, the movie
had a perfect film.
Gets a K-. Okay. Jason on Twitter wrote in saying, sorry for not tweeting about this earlier, but I actually watched Picnic at Hanging Rock. It was very good, but very ambiguous. I walked away with more questions than answers, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, that's about right, I think. Thank you for giving that movie a shot. It is an odd bird. I think I was trying to put that forth when I was recommending it. It is a fake true story, and so because of that, it doesn't have a definitive end. It's very open-ended, which is very as if to say truth is stranger than fiction, and to make you think it's more real than it is. It's like, well, this is obviously real. This is a mystery because it never got solved. No, it was just designed that way as a book, and then as in this movie adaptation where you don't know what happens, and the themes that are at play are larger than the actual what happened to these girls out there. It has to do with colonialism and colliding with indigenous landscapes and the attempt to quote unquote civilize and tame wild wastelands and places that, when you go someplace and you just try to make it more like your home, like having basically a lovely English picnic at a ancient stone garden monolith area that may have mysteries beyond your perception. Anyway, thank you for watching it. Joey on Patreon wrote in. You asked if anyone was watching Good Things to Enjoy. I watched Last of the Mohicans a couple weeks ago. My cousin tried to show it to me in the early 90s, but it was late at night and I was 8. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Do not try to make anyone out there, if you know an 8-year-old, please do not try to make them watch Last of the Mohicans.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So I really wasn't in the right headspace for it. I would argue that you were also 8, Joey. And that no 8-year-old could be in the headspace for Last of the Mohicans.
I had a lot going on.
I just had a lot on my mind. I couldn't watch a lengthy period piece starring Daniel Day-Lewis, directed by Michael Mann. Matt and my cousin were right, though. It is great. The soundtrack was incredible. I also plan to watch 30 Coins and Devs, so thanks for the recommendations. Curtis writes in on Patreon, I know you guys struggled with the RoboCop series as it went along, but it was all worth it to learn there was an animated series episode called DOS Reboot.
I agree, by the way.
Thank you both for your sacrifice. We've got two Mikes writing in the emails. Mike 1 writes in, Yo, Weenjoys, with so many older TV shows now available as part of streaming libraries, I was wondering what it would take to see HBO's Tales from the Crypt on a service. Given how many of the older shows you can watch, I thought HBO Max would be the one to do it, and they haven't, as far as I know. Neither has anyone else, so I'm curious if it's a rights issue, if they just don't have enough public interest in Crypt Keeper punnery these days. Anyway, super excited for the WeVent Horizon. That's his term, WeVent Horizon. Trademark Mike number 1. Release the Anderson cut knee lift.
Apparently it is a rights issue, specifically with Tales from the Crypt as a property. That sort of infamously, a few years ago, they had announced a new Tales from the Crypt series. Was it for TNT that M. Night Shyamalan was going to produce? They did a panel at Comic-Con. It was all happening. And then they had to pull the plug on it because it was complicated, like ownership issues between who owns the comic book, who licensed the show 30 years ago to HBO, who owns the TV rights now. It's all apparently extremely convoluted to the point that they had to pull the plug on that new show. And I've heard it also is why it is notably absent on HBO or HBO Max amongst kind of, it was a very successful show. It ran for many years, but I think it's one of the most successful, notable shows that's not there from HBO's heyday. I shouldn't say heyday. They got bigger after that. But they have so many classic shows. They don't have that one. And I do believe it is. Yeah,
their heyday was during Arliss and Dream On, Eric.
Yes. Arliss was the peak. Forget Sopranos. But yeah, so apparently it is ultimately a issue with that. I think you can buy it, buy digitally. But yeah, the streaming is just, it's too convoluted, unfortunately. Maybe one day they'll fix that.
All right, Mike 2 writes in, Hello, the Magnitude Eric. First of all, thanks for prompting me to watch the RoboCop reboot. I actually kind of liked it. But on to the current main event, Horizon, which is one of my favorite horror films. It stuck with me conceptually and visually, and even though I wanted more, I'm glad it was one and done. But outside of the movie itself, 3 things always stand out. : This movie is the reason we didn't get a good Mortal Kombat sequel. Next. Transylvanian Salt Mine is the most meta ending to this movie's story. I don't know what that is. I'll have to Google that, Mike. Number 2, the end credits, jumping ahead to Event Horizon by Prodigy, is so damn jarring. I like the movie. I like that the movie had to slip in one last traumatizing moment. Thank you, Mike. So, yeah, those are our write-ins, and we're going to get into our good things to enjoy, or just enjoy the cool thing, which is an alternate title for this segment.
Oh, but I'm going to pivot just for a second and say, we'll go back a second and say, from what I'm seeing right now, yeah, you can't even buy Tales from the Crypt. A couple years ago, you could still buy it, but right now it is just a missing show, unfortunately.
Oh, I thought you were in the moment Googling Transylvanian Salt Mine.
No. I was with the Crypt Keeper.
I don't know what that is.
I have questions too.
Sounds like a sex move. All right, good thing to enjoy. What's yours, Eric? You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Right.
Mine is a film called Ghost World that, I think some people know very well and some people might not because it's been 20 years. I watched it a few months ago. It was one of my quarantine rewatches. But yeah, 2001 movie. I guess right at this point now it's probably like, it's one of a very early Scarlett Johansson movie. I think she was like 16 I think she was 16 when she made it. Very, very rare playing older. She's playing a just graduated high school, so she should be 17 or 18. But Scarlett Johansson was an overachiever who got cast older and had to work limited hours. But it's her and Thora Birch, who at the time was doing a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, kind of fell by the wayside, but then kind of came back in the last couple of years, Walking Dead and stuff. And Steve Buscemi. And it's a comic book adaptation. So that's a really funny thing. Is Scarlett Johansson, besides Black Widow, has actually been in a few other comic book adaptations. But her first one was Ghost World, but it's like a little weird indie comic book.
Yeah, we're not talking about like superheroes here. Yeah,
no superhero stuff at all. Even though if you name like great comic book movies, it qualifies. But yeah, it's a weird indie movie based on a weird indie comic book about these two girls who've just graduated high school. who are definitely kind of like the purposely, they're the quirky girls, but also like kind of by design, and they're very sort of like anti-establishment and snarky. But then it's kind of like, well, they've just graduated. Can they continue to live this existence and the different paths they kind of take?
They're not too dissimilar from Daria Morgendorffer and Jane Lane.
Yes, that's true. And then Buscemi, Thora Birch is more the lead than Johansson, although Johansson's in plenty of it. But Thora Birch's character meets Steve Buscemi's character, who's like this middle-aged kind of loser guy who's eccentric, and she has like forms a weird friendship with. Even the way they meet is interesting. Anyway, it's a very like funny, certainly quirky, but I think it's a really good movie. And it's just got a lot of interesting sort of elements to it. It was the director, Terry Swigoff, hasn't done that many films. He did a couple documentaries prior to the Ghost World. Ghost World was his first scripted movie.
Did he do Crumb?
He did Crumb.
Okay.
Yes. And then he did Bad Santa, which is like his most like
famous.
Did
he do that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Although there were rumors of behind the scenes like issues making that movie and people having kind of it's sort of a Doug Liman like did other people like kind of come in after the fact stuff. But anyway, Ghost World I really dig, and I was really happy when I rewatched it that I still dug it. Some of it is very of the moment. I mean, certainly like just on a technology basis and things, and what it would be like for two teenage girls in 2001 versus now. There's definitely some huge differences with the lack of social media and cell phones and whatnot, but other parts of it I think are very relatable no matter what. And I think I guess I would prep people for an ambiguous ending. You were talking about have a movie with Picnic.
There is sort of a Picnic at Hanging Rock ending. Yes.
There is a you put what you want on the ending element to this movie.
And Thora Birch's character sort of befriends Buscemi because she's sort of drawn to the fellow outcast, but also quirky, oddball, and almost like she enjoys things ironically in a sense too. Okay. Yeah.
And that's definitely an element in the movie is the film is certainly not putting her on a pedestal because it kind of becomes about like, she's funny. You like her at the beginning. Oh, she's funny and sarcastic, but there is kind of that element of like, okay, but how long can that be her only sort of big trait is I'm ironic and sarcastic about everything, especially now that she's graduated high school, like what's she actually going to do with her life? It's I really like it. The late Brad Renfro has a fun little role in it. Ileana Douglas has a very funny role in it. And it is available. I just looked this up and then on Stars. It's streaming on Stars if you have Stars, or you can rent it at places you rent movies digitally.
Alrighty, Roo. And for those who listen to We Enjoy Wrestling, Ghost World is very famous for Eric talking about a big fart scene in that movie.
It does have a somewhat uncharacteristic of the movie, but then not as a big fart.
And I use that scene in an intro drop for We Enjoy Wrestling.
I'm not going to say which character farts.
That's the mystery. That's the real Picnic at Hanging Rock. Who farted?
Right.
Spencer's Gift has a whole line of hats that says "Who farted?" It's about Ghost World.
Okay, Ghost World. It's a logo on it.
Who farted? Ghost World on the back. Okay, my recommendation this week is probably my favorite buddy cop comedy or buddy comedy. I've talked to Sepinwall a couple times about this because he also really likes this movie. But Sepinwall, Alan Sepinwall, critic for Rolling Stone right now, is Ride or Die for Midnight Run. That's his favorite movie, which is also a great movie. Everyone should watch Midnight Run. And this is almost my Midnight Run. I don't know if I'm quite as obsessive about this as he is a Midnight Run, but I just like to call this my Midnight Run. But with relation to Alan Sepinwall, or else that doesn't make any sense. Okay. It's called Running Scared, not the 2006 Running Scared, starring Paul Walker. Yeah. This is from 1986. It's directed by Peter Hyams, who's directed a bunch of stuff. I think maybe his first movie was Capricorn 1. He did a couple big actiony supernatural things like End of Days starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Relic starring Tom Sizemore.
Two of Van Damme's best movies, which is not
arguably best movies. I know a lot of people when you talk about Van Damme will love Kickboxer and Bloodsport, his first entries into the action oeuvre. But as far as well-made, high-concept, fun, quality action movies, I don't think you can really beat. If you're looking for an objectively good Van Damme movie, Time Cop and Sudden Death, which were released back to back, both directed by Peter Hyams, are really good movies. Yeah. It's like if you're looking for an objectively good Steven Seagal movie, like I enjoy his early run of like Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, but Under Siege was a good movie, right? Yeah. Like Under Siege was the good movie he made.
Right.
Okay, anyway, that's the director. This movie stars two actors who weren't necessarily, I would say, actors like comedian and a dancer, really. We're talking about...
That's the thing, is like, if anything, you would have thought it would be like a big tough guy and one of these guys.
Right. Like maybe a big tough guy and a funny guy, but you've got two funny guys. Gregory Hines, who's a super accomplished dancer, who started doing movies, famous for a movie called White Nights with Mikhail Baryshnikov, and Billy Crystal, who you know from everything. He's a comedian, a comedic actor. Two guys who never played cops before this movie and never played cops after this movie. And somehow in this movie, they play veteran Chicago police officers who are best friends, and it works on levels you wouldn't think it could ever possibly work on. The chemistry between these two, who have never acted with each other before and never acted with each other after it.
Right.
Their chemistry is incredible. And a lot of this movie was improvised. And what I really like about this movie is that you come into the movie and they're best friends, and you leave the movie and they're best friends. They are just like friends. There's no like meet your new partner and then they hate each other and then they have to, by the end they grow to understand and bond with one another. These are just two like longtime friends who work together. And it's just, I don't think you really see that in a lot of these types of movies. And the hook of this movie, the meaning for the title, Running Scared, is that after putting in so many hours on the job and almost getting killed X number of times, they're like, what are we doing? We almost got killed. Nobody appreciates us. Why don't we retire? We can actually retire and open a bar down in Key West. And so it's one of those things where they kind of quit during the movie, but then when the guy they thought they got busted didn't get busted and is back out on the streets, they're kind of like feel like they need to like clear this one last case.
How you describe this? It's almost like it almost did the plot of a sequel first. It did like Bad Boys for Life with Martin Lawrence being like,
that's a good point. That's a good point, because again, like they are friends. It's like we missed the first movie.
Right.
But it's still great to walk into this world during this movie. Like it still works. And so you've got Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines as Chicago cops. You've got Stephen Bauer and what's the guy who's in like everything? Jonathan Gries. Jonathan Gries from like Real Genius, and he was on Lost, and he's in a bunch of stuff. So and Stephen Bauer, Joe Pantoliano's in it. Dan Hedaya is the captain who yells, you know. Yeah. And the villain is played by very young Jimmy Smits. So I recommend Running Scared. It also, if we're talking about movies from the 80s, because Eric, I just rewatched, I think I saw it once when I was growing up. So I just rewatched for the first time in decades Trading Places. I bring that up only to say, if we're talking about movies or even comedies, action comedies from the 80s, there are very few that don't have a ton of problematic elements.
Yes.
And I think Running Scared actually holds up is one of those movies that actually can hold up now with being very low on the problematic scale, which is sort of a rare thing.
There are movies we absolutely love that are also like, there's a scene or two where you go, ugh.
Oh, Trading Places is all scenes like that. It's all racism and homophobia and like, it's crazy. Anyway. So, but this one I just think is a good time. I think it's well directed, well acted. The music's fun, you know, just because it's got big 80s songs in it. It's also known for having the Michael McDonald song Sweet Freedom.
Yes, it is.
As well as Man Size Love by Climax. That's Klymaxx, by the way. And good time at the cinema. As far as I know, though, you can't see it anywhere. So good luck with that.
I think you can rent it. On I think Apple and Amazon have it for rent. So check. I will say, Matt, I have not seen. I liked Running Scared, but I probably haven't seen it in 20 years. And you and Steppenwall, every few months we'll have a Running Scared little interplay on Twitter. And now that you're mentioning it here again, I will try to hunt it down and watch it again because you make me want to revisit it.
It's just they're really good. And you wouldn't think they would be. And also after this, you would think they would get more roles like that. Because they were so good. I mean, the movie didn't do well, as far as I remember. I don't think it was a hit, which makes me like it more just because, there weren't sequels, So
it's another one on Stars, and it is rentable on Amazon. So there you go.
All right, thank you for looking that up.
No problem.
All right, let's move on to Main Event Horizon here. Full spoilers for Event Horizon, even though we already gave away via Mike number 2's email that it ends with a Prodigy song.
Went over our head. Oh, the Prodigy, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what Transylvanian Salt Mine fuck means. I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to look that up. Okay. Event Horizon. I brought this up last week when we were talking about what we were going to watch for this week. Because this came out when I was in film school, and it came out the same year as Contact, and they're both about outer space. One was a big hit and got great reviews, and the other one wasn't a big hit and got bad reviews. I think Event Horizon has like an astounding 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, something awful that makes me angry. But I clearly liked Event Horizon more than I did Contact. I don't hate Contact, but I really liked Event Horizon. So it led to these weird debates about these two movies, which are very different movies. The only common thread is the space involved. There's no reason.
There's really nothing that they're not trying to be similar type of movies.
Not at all. Not in the least. And, but anyway, I always remember Event Horizon for that. But mostly I remember Event Horizon, and I think Mike number 2 already pointed this out too. There were just moments from this movie, I think after I saw it, it took a long time before I watched it again. It had to come on DVD or something like that. And the visuals of this movie really stick with you. The colors used, in the green technical, air duct, the spinning corridor, you're at the Avalanche part of the studio tour at Universal Studios. The lights in the umbilicus when they're going from the Lewis and Clark over to the Event Horizon. The Event Horizon ship itself, which was on the poster, but it's a very ridiculous looking, but also memorably striking looking ship.
Yeah, I love that it has the name. It has Event Horizon in huge words on the side of it.
So that when they come through the storm, they see Event Horizon. Yeah.
Hey, that's the Event Horizon, guys.
So, I have quibbles about this movie where if they hadn't done X, Y, or Z, it couldn't have been a lot better. But overall, I really love this as a haunted house movie in space is basically what it is. It's just instead of a haunted house, it's a spaceship that has been to hell and back. And it is, I think, very effective. I think it could have actually been a bit longer. I don't usually argue for movies to be longer, but this one feels things felt so escalated in the third act, things ramp up so quickly. I feel that it could have, because I also like the look of the ship and just the walking around and exploring the different creepy places. I felt like there was more build there, but that just we can tangent very quickly into the fact that it is still, I believe, being developed as a series for Amazon by Adam Wingard.
Oh, I forgot that was happening, and now if I'd known that or thought about that, I would have asked Wingard about that when I interviewed him the other day for Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't know if that's still happening. I hope it is, though, because it definitely seems like there's a lot of potential here. Yeah, I really dig this movie too, and so it's Paul W.S. Anderson, the other Paul Anderson, not Paul Thomas Anderson,
not Boogie Nights, Paul Anderson, not There Will Be Blood. Yeah. Paul W.S.
This is the one that makes the lowbrow. His reputation is lowbrow action sci-fi stuff. Most famous for Mortal Kombat '95, the first Mortal Kombat movie, Resident Evil, the first one, and many of the sequels. Mila Jovovich is his wife. They've done a ton of movies together. Did Alien vs. Predator. There are other movies he's done that I enjoy, but this is the only movie I love of his. I think this is definitely his standout. and just especially like you said, the visuals of it are so great. And I'll mention a little bit about because so if you liked this movie, by the way, there is a brand new Blu-ray out this week from Shout Factory / Scream Factory that, first of all, looks so much better than I've seen the movie ever look at home. It was like a new 4K transfer, not a 4K release, but a 4K transfer, and it looks so good. And then also, I was watching some of the new interviews and stuff on it, and he talked about how one reason this movie isn't dated is it doesn't have a lot of circa 97 CGI, which dates so many movies from this era, because if you didn't have the full ILM budget, you tend to have that CG that was like not there yet and really stands out. But this movie didn't use much CG, and all the sets were fully built. That's the incredible thing.
It used a lot of practical sets and ships and stuff like that. And the only CGI you see are like floating objects.
Yeah,
and shots there was a few shots in this movie that looked like they were supposed to be for a 3D release or something like that. But this was all very tangible, this movie.
Yeah. And it's like, it's an interesting movie where it's like almost a strange blend of like feeling low budget and high budget at the same time, because it's a very contained movie. I mean, clearly Alien was a huge influence. From the moment you meet the crew, it's going for a very similar vibe.
It's space trucker vibe all the way. And if you could also argue the twist that they pull in this movie is that Dr. Weir is the Ripley, and Dr. Weir then becomes the evil
he becomes the Ash.
So Eric, we committed a huge boner here because we went into Event Horizon and we're a few minutes into it already, but we didn't tell people what to watch for next week. So let's let's just take a brief pause, and hopefully people who are listening to this, they didn't stop listening because of Event Horizon, but they'll know what to watch for next week. We were just floating around ideas. One was just to keep it in the Sam Neill canon of films, specifically genre films. Yeah, the Neilverse. And so we're going to do a movie that we also both enjoy for next week called In the Mouth of Madness, which was from 1994, directed by John Carpenter.
Yep. And
it stars Sam Neill in, his post-Jurassic Park run of, these, nothing ever as big as Jurassic Park, but like these notable, fun, not genre super movies. Well received, but Eric and I like them, genre movies.
Well, look, here's what they are. You know what they both have in common? Shout Factory Blu-rays, because they both have beloved cult followings. So they're both movies that years later people are like, I really like that movie. Do a Blu-ray with a bunch of extras, and people like me and Matt might buy it.
Yeah, mostly Eric because of disposable income. Okay, so let's talk about. Sam Neill is still the name of the game for next week as we watch In the Mouth of Madness, and it'll be a main event for that movie. And I guess I didn't know this going in, that it's the third part of John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy, which makes me want to revisit Prince of Darkness, which I don't think I've seen since the 80s.
Oh, I love Prince of Darkness. Actually, I have the Shout Factory Blu-ray of that.
I assume every John Carpenter has a Shout Factory Blu-ray. So.
A lot. But I actually have a particular love for Prince of Darkness, which I remember seeing. What was that theater we'd go see horror movies on the East Side sometimes? We saw...
it's just called East Side Horror. No, that's not what it was called.
the East Side Horror Theater is where I saw.
It was in the 80s on the East Side. I don't remember the name of it. Okay, so In the Mouth of Madness for next week. So let's continue with Event Horizon. I also don't know when to fit this in necessarily, so I'm just going to do it now because we already paused to talk about next week's main event. Years later, I don't know, I will say this around 2010. So we're talking like 13 years after the movie. We discovered, this is when, YouTube discoveries were still a hot and heavy thing where it's like it could entertain us for a long time and not just a day. We discovered a band called 357 Lover, who is actually, I learned, from my neck of the woods here up in Denton, Texas, did a song called Event Horizon about the movie. Like, you can imagine if this was the type of movie that had a song. Well, it does have a song at the end, actually. But it had one of those movies.
But this was more of an 80s. This was more of like an 80s title track.
So 357 Lover. It is like a blend of Queen and Meatloaf and a lot of glam stadium rock, like that type of music. So it's not a parody band. It's not really a comedy band because
it's like The Darkness.
Sort of a little bit. But anyway, they do a song called Event Horizon, which is actually an amazing song. It is a good song.
If you like the movie at all, you will love this song.
And I'll play a little bit of it in the outro for you guys. But it was also my ringtone for a long time. Someone would call me and would just go, Event Horizon!
I knew it likely would not be on the Blu-ray because, again, it has no actual legal connection to the film, but I wanted it to be. It's not. But
I would, because I do agree with Mike number 2 that Prodigy funky shit song is a bad way to end the movie.
Well, it's the hysterical, it's the one thing that says that this movie was made in 1997.
Yeah.
Which is the one thing that makes me affectionate about it, even though it's so strange to go to it. But it is the one thing that's like, this is a 1997 movie.
And yet but I'm saying, I think that was a bad creative choice, and yet I would love it if this song was the end of the movie.
Right, which also would be a tonal shift.
But a tonal shift, but also in the grand tradition of movies with a theme song at the end that explains the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Like Deep Blue Sea by LL Cool J or like many other examples. Okay. Google, after you're done Googling Transylvanian Salt Mine, Google 357 Lover Event Horizon and prepare to be amazed. Okay. Into the movie. So Dr. Weir acts as our He is sort of the Ripley character for this movie. As you stated, he also becomes the Ash at the end. We knew going into this movie that there were some, the actors were good. We knew who Sam Neill was. We knew who, I think we knew who most people in this movie were.
Fishburne and Neill were the posters. We
knew who Lawrence Fishburne was for sure. What was his biggest thing? I know Deep Cover. He got super famous for playing Ike Turner.
This would have been timing wise. He at this point, I think Deep Cover might have been his first lead, but he had just been sort of and it's funny that this is only 2 years before The Matrix.
This is before The Matrix, but he had also done Searching for Bobby Fischer,
huge sci-fi thing. Yep.
Searching for Bobby Fischer.
So a lot of supporting stuff. Deep Cover was his kind of his first built around him movie, and then this. Yeah.
But then 93 also with Searching for Bobby Fischer.
Boys in the Hood, everyone knew.
What's Love Got to Do with It, which I think he got an Oscar nomination for. I may be wrong. So, and let's not forget Fled. Should Fled have been our next week's main event? Okay. We got a Fled. Okay, Event Horizon. But it had a lot of notable character actors of the era. It had Kathleen Quinlan in it, who was for a hot 5 years was the wife in a lot of Hollywood movies. Just I think she was Tom Hanks' wife in Apollo 13.
She got an Oscar nomination for.
And then it had also Jack Noseworthy, who we knew at the time from various Jack Noseworthy movies. I don't know what.
Jack Noseworthy, and he mentioned because he's interviewed on the Blu-ray. And he mentions that he was actually doing a bunch of Paramount movies. It is funny when you notice he wasn't the leads of these movies, but he was in the Brady Bunch movie, and
he was in Breakdown, which was the same year. Yeah,
a freaking love Breakdown with Kathleen Quinlan, and then he was in this. So three Paramount movies. He was a Paramount boy, and then it is funny that everyone in this movie now is recognizable to me. I know from something specific.
Yeah. So Sean Pertwee, you may well recognize as Alfred on the Gotham series. Jason Isaacs as Lucius Malfoy, and many other things. Then we've got Richard T. Jones,
who's currently on The Rookie, a show I don't watch, but I knew him very well from Sarah Connor Chronicles, a show I love.
Well, he was also on Judging Amy for 6 years, and I didn't watch that either. But he was also on, let's see.
We know him from his unsuccessful sci-fi genre show.
Yeah, we know him from Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and... right. But he was on, so many things. I guess he was in Santa Clarita Diet, too. I'm looking. I didn't watch that show on Netflix either. Okay. So, a lot of people. And then we've got Jolie Richardson, who is actually Natasha Richardson's younger sister, who was in a lot of stuff in her own right. So she was in The Patriot, and she was in a bunch of
Dalmatians.
Yeah, a bunch of movies. She was in King Ralph, bunch of stuff. So just about everybody in this movie is somebody from the time too, and
either from the time or then soon after they broke out.
This movie is just so visually striking. It starts with, it's not a Prodigy song, but it starts with like this really percussive Blue Man Group style music, like you're watching Stomp on Broadway or something like that. And then it gives you the brief rundown of the history of what's going on. We've colonized space. We're mining on the moon. In 2040, the event horizon was going to explore beyond Neptune, and it vanished. Even though the crew members, the story they were told is that it blew up. So they didn't think it was something that could ever come back even. And so we're in 2047 now. A distress call is received from the far reaches of space, and it's the event horizon. So Lewis and Clark, headed by Captain Miller, played by Lawrence Fishburne, are sent out. Their shore leave is cut short or canceled. I couldn't figure out what it was. That's a very much a, like, that still, that trope exists forever. Like, that existed in Kong Skull Island. Like, you know, but like you said, there's a lot of this movie that's owed to Alien. The visuals too, I think.
But that certainly seems like such a huge influence on it.
I think the poster, I'm looking up the poster right now. No,
and there were two posters. There was the one of Just of the Ship, and then there was the one of like Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne.
Infinite Space, Infinite Terror.
Yeah.
So then they go into they're not Space Marines, but they are rescue. And they each we get introductions to each of them. We've got the pilot, the first officer, the medic, engineer, so on and so forth, rescue specialist. But they do the thing of like, we're going just to Neptune, so we're going to sleep in these gravity pods, and it's their version of cryo sleep. And again, I really wish I'm not as much of a sci-fi nerd that I can trace this back. Like, what, you know, James Cameron like really invented like the Space Marine, but who invented like that type of like, that's used every single sci-fi movie now of like having to go to night, but when you take a long trip, you know? Like going into I think going into these pods, just,
you know, predictive. I mean, I think it's based on real life. Like, hey, if we ever actually do this, you know, this is something we'd have to do. But yeah, I don't know where it first came from in fiction.
So we don't even get the full story ourselves until Dr. Weir explains what's going on to the crew. We just know that the event horizon was lost. He explains more fully what it was meant to do, and that it uses a gravity warp drive to create a black hole, and that it was actually going to jump to a different part of the universe. It wasn't just going to explore past Neptune. It was going to go through a wormhole. And so that then we get into the fact that it's got this gravity drive and it creates singularities and stuff like that. But before I get too far into all of this, because they're approaching the ship, we already said that they've got the big sign that says Event Horizon on the front. We need to talk about Captain Miller's chair. Because Captain Miller's chair is wildly outrageous.
It's impractical.
It is so impractical. It's suspended. No one else's chair is suspended. So if you're arguing that it's like it's meant to protect him in case of like turbulence or a crash or something like that, like no one else, everyone else is sitting in a normal chair. Not only is it like suspended, but it's really slow. So if he wants to like move from the front to the back or back to the front or turn, it's like the slowest wheelchair ever. And his feet are just dangling, and it's silly.
Yes. It's a little over production designed.
and I mean, it's certainly memorable. Obviously, we're talking about memorable imagery from this movie. Lawrence Fishburne slowly moving along on this ski lift through the cockpit. Then at the end, when Dr. Weir sits on it, you're like, oh, he's on the silly chair.
Right. He just likes to move around. It's like a little ride, little theme park ride.
Okay, so everybody's got sort of their own persona, but no one's too obnoxious. We've got Richard T. Jones's Cooper is almost like the Hudson of the group. a little bit. Being a little, coworker inappropriate with Jolie Richardson Stark. And then it comes time to basically just go aboard the Event Horizon. And that's when sort of the real visuals kick in. And, everything looks so fucking cool. Like, everything really still holds up looking cool. Again, like you said, it's just all practical sets, so...
And just, like, cool choices, and that when Sam Neill is crawling through that, like, green sort of duct, that corridor that's really tight and, like, lit like the Matrix, but before the Matrix came out.
Yeah.
Just everything, is very memorable looking. And that giant room, with where the what is it, the black hole drive or whatever they call it is, like,
like the gravity drive, where with the with the spinning spike balls.
Mm-hmm. And the whole thing is that they're trying to make a ship that can go cheat light speed, because they can't actually go light speed, and in this movie they basically say that scientifically you can't go at light speed, but their cheat for that is basically like a warp jump. Like the folding of space. So you're basically teleporting, except what are you teleporting through is kind of the crux of the issue.
So there's a lot of like trailer lines, this place that I remember. Every time I watch this movie, I remember what was in the trailer. Like, this place is a tomb. You telling me the ship's alive, stuff like that. I
had the exact same thing, because we would go to the movies so much and you would just see the same trailers over and over. Then like, oh yeah, that was the trailer.
So, the ship is acting like a haunted house, more specifically in the first couple acts, where it's tormenting people with, bad dreams, haunted nightmares of their past. It takes a while before we learn that Miller is being haunted by something that he regrets, but Kathleen Quinlan's character, Peters, I think, has a sick son. But then the big one is what we open with, because Weir's the first character we meet, which is a really interesting way. Narratively, it's really interesting because he is the first character we meet, and he winds up being the villain. So I don't know that too many movies do that, and we get. I think it's pretty neat twist on that type of introduction, because
he's the point of view character for quite a while, and then the shift of like, oh, we can't trust him. It's not. It would usually be Miller's point of view, and then Weird turns. But I do like that they kind of shift that.
Well, also he's given the late wife with a tragic backstory, and so you feel bad for him. You feel like he's the hero, and you feel like he needs to overcome some element of his grief to push forward, because the ship is actually obviously going to attack him on this level. So if he can push past this, then he can have his hero moment and be the character who we assumed he would be when we were introduced to him. But he's not. He is the full target, because he is the most vulnerable, and he's the one who basically becomes one with the darkness. I just think it happens a little too quickly, because all of a sudden he's like, I am home, and he vanishes into the darkness, and Miller's like, that was weird. Like, what the fuck was he talking about? Like...
What are you on?
And I also always, for some reason, think Jack Noseworthy dies in this movie, but he doesn't. He just implodes politely.
I don't know if you remember, Matt, that 24 years ago you said, "How can you not like this movie? Jack Noseworthy implodes in it." That is a Matt Fowler quote, circa 1997 for you. I don't know what Matt's vendetta against Jack Noseworthy was.
I stand by that quote still to this day. And,
but because I remembered that quote, I also expected him to die.
No, he's just fucked up. We don't even really know his ultimate fate, because by the time we get to the end, they never open his pod in front of us, so we don't know. It's like, oh my god, he's so implodey.
He just pours out of himself.
Yeah, he's just liquid. Why did you even put him in a pod? We don't have to get into the full beats of this movie, but everyone's really good. Obviously, because they would also go on to do great things, even when they weren't as noteworthy as they are here. Not noseworthy, noteworthy. And it's just a well-made, creepy-ass movie. The way that it leads you in, first with the sounds, like, this is what we picked up, and it's just horrific, otherworldly screaming with Latin buried in it. Then when you finally get to the part of the ship's log once Peters clears up the visuals, and it's just awful carnage.
It's like a murder orgy.
Yeah, it's like people eating each other, hurting themselves by ripping their eyes out, having sex.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like an atrocity exhibit that is so memorable. It's one of the things, and you get enough visuals of it for it to really leave an impression. It doesn't linger on a lot of stuff. And that continues throughout, too, because at the end when Weir touches Miller's head, he sees that, but specifically with his own crew. People like hung up in these, and the way he kills DJ, who is Jason Isaacs' character, almost comically quickly for what he does. But I guess you forgive it because he's operating in like with the rules of another dimension. But he creates this Hannibal tableau out of him, where he's hanging by wires and his guts are all out and stuff like that. Because Miller's actively running to that part. I get that it's a big ship, but that had to take a lot of time.
Yes. A lot of times in these movies, people are very good and quick with their murder tableaus. Everyone's really good. It has a really cool sort of. Again, it's funny because it's very uncharacteristic for Paul W.S. Anderson, who makes schlocky stuff that is sometimes fun and sometimes not. But this one has a lot more sort of atmosphere than his other stuff, I think. And just has a really cool vibe to it. And while, of course, is heavily influenced by other movies, as we're mentioning, I still think really, it still stands on its own as just a really well done example. Did you see Matt Underwater, the Christian Stewart movie?
I've heard good things about it though.
I think you'd like it. And I guess I'll say, compliment I'll give Underwater is it reminded me of Event Horizon and other movies of this 90s sort of well done genre. It had a similar sci-fi genre vibe. It felt very 90s in that respect, but in a very positive way. But yeah, I really liked it. You mentioned the opening music. The score is the late Michael Kamen. Best known for Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and their sequels. He was a big action director, he did the first X-Men movie, but it's a cool score, and I really like that, very specific opening. That's the menu music on the Blu-ray, but it's a nice, fun, intense thing going on there. And I really, and other people said at the time, and I still, I see why, especially because of how Sam Neill looks at the end, but I still think they'd evoke it a little bit, which is this is the better Hellraiser in space movie than Hellraiser Bloodline, the actual Hellraiser in space movie that came out the year before this.
There certainly is a lot of Hellraiser stuff with the hell visuals that people nailed to things, and
yeah, and then when Sam Neill at the end comes and he's he's marked himself up, it's very evocative of the Cenobites with the sort of having carved yourself up a la Pinhead and the rest of them. And I forgot what I was going to say, so you said something else before I remember what I was going to say.
Well, I think one of the things, I get that you say that having the Prodigy song at the end is an interesting note to date this movie, remind you of the 90s. But, Miller, his turn in this movie is that, he regrets having not saved somebody. So his big move at the end is to sacrifice himself to save his remaining crew, which are at that point Cooper, Stark, and the imploded Jack Noseworthy. But
three of them make it, which is more than a lot of these movies.
Oh yeah, I know. Because I'm watching the movie, I'm I forget how Stark dies. I'm oh, she doesn't. That's right. She gets knocked out twice, but but she gets up again. Ain't nothing going to keep her down. So I think that, but the way he sacrifices himself, Jesus Christ, he doesn't blow himself up or kill himself. He sends himself to the hell dimension to save them. I'm that's horrific, because he's all seen what's going to happen to him, and we've seen it. And then it ends with, oh my God, it's the funky shit.
Right.
It really kind of
robs. It is funky shit, Matt.
It is. Yeah. If there's anything funky out in space, it is in this place. It is. That's for sure.
Not a fully successful final scene, because it goes for the sort of final scare, but then it was a dream, or was it? sort of thing, but I'm pretty forgiving of that. I know it's so many movies that I like, especially genre movies, don't have a great final scene because there's this onus on it to deliver a final scare, and so sometimes it feels a little lacking because it's like you kind of feel like they're like, well, we have to have something else happen here.
Yeah, I think I was just I'm forgiving of it, me personally, because I'm more in awe that 3 people survived.
Yeah, no, same here, including the imploded Jack Noseworthy, which is my new band. I remember what I was going to say, which is the writer is interviewed on the Blu-ray, and the 2 things that really stuck out that he talked about was just visiting the set because it was so amazing for him to like see how insane the sets were, walking into that the drive, the big round room with the ball in the center. Although he said the ball wasn't there yet, but he's just just so impressive to walk into. But the other thing he talked about was the studio did want, I guess in the original script, there was never any specifics about where the ship went. And the studio's like, you have to tell us it went to hell. Like they wanted it to be explicit. And his compromise was the line about like, it's worse than hell. Like, but
hell is just a word. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was
think
his addition because the studio wanted something explicit said about like where the ship had gone.
I think I do think it's interesting because I don't even know if it's supposed to be the Christian concept of hell, or I just know that they went to a hell dimension that is awful, and what we choose to. I like that you can use the word hell here as they do in the movie, but I do feel like it's still ambiguous. I do feel like we still don't get any hard answers about where this thing went except to the bad place.
Right.
Like,
right.
And this is what happens there. And is it like one of the concentric circles of Dante's Inferno? Maybe, but I think that it's just. They mentioned that it's a different dimension, like not even within our universe. But I still think the whole thing is vague enough to keep the scares.
No, I agree, and I like not getting any more specifics. And obviously, it's a literal blend of sci-fi and horror because it's a ship that was basically made to teleport, and that accidentally teleported into some horrific place. And you don't need to be told the specifics of like it's hell or it is the dimension of Zavapapa or some nonsense name. It went somewhere bad.
Nobody had to find an ancient tome on the ship saying like, oh, the Sumerians talked of this place, and here's a picture of it and stuff like that. It's just, I think it really does take advantage of why you can do space horror, because just looking into the vastness of space, laying down on the ground in a field on Earth and looking up in the sky is terrifying. The vastness of space is so scary that you can keep it super vague and still have the impact you want. I think that's why it works. I think because it's like, there are things that are super grounded and tethered to our planet, like human spirits and ghosts and stuff like that. But when you talk about space, it really opens up a lot of possibilities because we to this day do not know what's out there, and what is beyond this and that. So I think it works. I like this movie a whole lot. I think it's a pretty good time at the old multiplex.
No, I do too, and I was glad it held up watching it the other day. A little behind the scenes stuff I'll talk about is so one thing that again, I'm a huge fan to the point that maybe we should watch it at some point, but I love Breakdown. It's like I saw Breakdown a million times this summer because I was so into it, and I was like, wow, that's crazy that 2 movies by Paramount with Jack Noseworthy and Kathleen Quinlan, and they like began and ended the summer. Like they opened so close, like May and August. How did that even work? And then the big thing with Event Horizon was learning it was extremely rushed because of Titanic. Because Titanic was Paramount's huge movie for the year and was so behind schedule. It was supposed to be their summer movie, their big summer movie. It wasn't going to make it for summer, and they needed something else. And so Event Horizon was supposed to come out later, was like, you have to finish this quickly. And so the editing on Event Horizon was insane. Like their schedule to like edit it and release it was so truncated. And that's why there's Quinlan and Noseworthy movies so close to each other. So that was it made sense learning that. And then the other thing was when this was announced, when the Blu-ray was announced, there was so many people that were so excited because they're like, are we going to finally get the director's cut? Are we going to get the Anderson cut? Because it was known that there was like a 2.5 hour version, and there was like a lot of like super gory footage and other footage that had been glimpsed on some previous VHS and DVD versions. And ultimately, it's not on there because Anderson says, and I'm like, man, is this a Paramount thing? Because this was the Friday 13th thing too. Like they can't, it's gone. Like the only version of it is like on a crappy VHS tape. The stuff that was edited out, it seems it was destroyed. So it seems like Paramount was like, burn it. Like you edited out your footage. They're like,
send it to hell.
No one will ever want to see this again. So they got rid of it. But I did like what he said, which is he's like, look, we tested the movie. The first test was like that 2.5 hour version.
Oh, I would have wanted to see that so bad.
but it tested terribly, and he's like,
not with me.
Right. He said it was way too long. However, if they'd had a few more weeks, because this was the like, you have to get this movie done in 4 weeks, so then they just drastically cut it to this 95-minute version. He's like, if we had a few more weeks, we probably would have had the compromise, a little longer than that what we got version. But
I mean, a 2-hour version, I don't need a 2.5. Just like 30 minutes more would have been amazing.
Sure. And so I think it probably would have been like 20-30 minutes more. But then again, I'm like, who knows? I'm like, because I really like it, it's like, hey, maybe it benefited from having that crazy truncated schedule, because certainly what they put out I really dug, even though I agree with you. Yeah, it seems like you could have 10-20 minutes more of this movie. That would have been cool. But yeah, I really like what we got. But it was funny, like, because I was looking on Shout Factory's website, and so many of the comments when they on the page for this were like, you better have the director's cut, you better have it. And then when they were delaying the release, like, that better be because of the director's cut. So to the point that they had to say, and then they made sure to include it, like, have Paul Anderson himself say, there is no director's cut, there's no footage, we can't get it. Just like,
yeah.
So to stop the
and even then that wouldn't curb everybody's appetite.
Right.
We talked about the imploding Jack Noseworthy, which there was CGI involved in there, but can we talk about the practical splatter of the Kathleen Quinlan fall? Jesus. That was a bad fall. She turned into liquid when she hit the ground there. Oof, that was nasty.
That was intense. By the way, it's funny. Just look, we are all dealing with COVID, and I'm doing all these videos every week at my day job on Zoom that would normally be sitting in a studio. But it is funny that all of the interviews on Event Horizon were done by Zoom, so it's like you always be able to tell like what year they made like a Blu-ray.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, this is the COVID year, and they had to put like a disclaimer on the Jack Noseworthy one because it had the most technical issues. It'll happen, guys. We're all dealing with it.
Was his Zoom imploding?
No, it was like a bad connection, so there was a lot of like losing. Like,
what I blame for that? The Event Horizon.
The Event Horizon.
He's the first person who touched the goop.
Baby bear.
Baby bear. Baby bear, don't touch the goop. All right. Speaking of that, we'll end there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Main Event Horizon. And next week, we're going to do In the Mouth of Madness. If you don't watch it, it'll become In the Mouth of Sadness. And with that,
and I think that's another one that's you can rent it at places you rent movies.
Oh yeah, we didn't tell people where to rent it, but
you'll find it. It's out there.
People are smart.
Sure.
I think, right?
Some.
Transylvania Salt Mine.
Our listeners are great.
Yeah, our listeners are amazing. Everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma.
Event Horizon. Shakma.
It's been a nightmarish pleasure to serve you, Dr. Weir.